I'm here with Kelly Jackson, team leader of the K-Jax Group. Kelly, how long you been in real estate?
22 years.
22 years. And what different markets have you worked in?
So started off with a managing broker's license in the Chicago market for about 13 years. Just got a wild hair, decided, oh, I love palm trees. Let's go to the warm weather. Moved to Houston, got licensed there. Worked in the Houston market for a little over 5 years. And now we're here in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and have a team here as well as an expansion team in the Houston market.
Okay, so and how long have you and I worked together?
The entire time.
Oh, wow. And who would you say is your best number one teammate?
Probably me.
Okay.
But you've been okay too.
Okay, all right. All right, so what would you say is some of the blessings and some of the challenges of working together?
Well, the blessing was, I think that for me, as a mother, our youngest, Jay, he never went to daycare. Like we were able to work that into our schedules where someone was home when that school bus came at the end of the day. And so that was big for me we were at every game. We set our schedule and we were cheering the kids on when they played about every sport, but we were there. So that was the biggest blessing for me. The hardest part was going from you being in corporate America to understanding that our income is based solely on performance. This is a performance-based business. We get up every day unemployed. And so it's those habits, it's the schedule, it's working with clients, sometimes at uncomfortable hours. So it's all of that we had to get used to. And one of us had a tougher time adjusting them.
Are you talking about me? Well, it was tough for me to get out of the corporate American mode and get into understand that, yes, every day I'm employed. Nobody cares what happened yesterday. 12 midnight, a new clock starts. Nobody cares. I'm looking for new business. So that was a big adjustment for me. I would say part of the challenge for me was, again, understanding there's no security. I either get out and produce my security. There's nothing to fall back on. I got to make it happen, my habits. The other thing was just learning what your area of expertise was my area of expertise, and complementing each other and not butting up against each other. That's something we had to work out and feel our way through for the first, I would say, the first year or two to kind of really figure it out or start at least figuring it out and getting it.
Right. So you're more of a people person. I'm more of a driver. And so going in and talking to that seller about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and when we're going to do it, that's who I am. And so you were able to have more relationship with our clients, particularly on the buyer side, which is kind of unusual. A lot of times you see it done differently, but it really played well to our personalities, and understanding that dynamic really helped to, have longevity in this business.
I would say one of the blessings for me would be understanding that sometimes one of us going to have to work long and not feeling like one is getting slighted. Being as though we're both in the same business, we know the challenges, we understand what it takes, so we can support one another when, hey, we ain't going out this next couple of weeks because got to put in some time, got to get some reports done, got to get these things done. But then at the same time, we could turn work into pleasure. Like, are we going to a conference and we're going to have some fun while we're there? So I think that has been a big blessing.
Yeah, I'll agree, because there were times where you would call and I was at the office doing invoicing for our REO side of our business. And are you coming home? And the janitor was there. And so I remember those days. I also remember some of the humorous times, particularly when I had this BPO, which is a broker price opinion. We needed to go, the property was tenant occupied and the bank needed to know the value of this property. Well, we get there and I'm sitting in the car. I don't know what's behind that wall. So Keith goes in, he's suited up, he's looking good, smelling good. Well, no sooner than I look up And Keith is, well, first the dog runs out. And I'm like, oh my, what happened? And then Keith comes out. He's disheveled. He's dirty. By now I am cracking up laughing. And so Keith, what happened?
I went in, the lady said, oh, you could go around the backyard and start there. So I go around and she didn't tell me that the dog was back there. And this big German Shepherd or something stands up, starts barking at me and coming at me. So I run into the garage. I see a car, it's dusty. I leap onto the hood. I'm worried about the dog. So the dog looks at me, I guess sees a way out. So he forgets about me and just jets out the yard. By this time, I'm covered in this old dusty dog hairs and from this old car.
You stink.
I smell like dog, and I'm upset. And you're sitting there laughing. I was ready to give it to you.
The sight of the dog escaping, the owner chasing him, you dirty, it was too much. I laughed all the way back home because you had to go change. So that was finding humor in a situation.
Well, we got stories for days from Chicago all the way to Houston. Now we're creating them in the DMV. But that's some of the pleasures I've taken from working together. So I'm looking forward to a longer career. Before we go any further, this market is different. How would you categorize the 2023 market?
I would say it's really putting your head down and focusing on your work, your habits, learning skills, really refining your tools. The last market that we came out of was a frenzied market. It was very unusual, nothing that we had ever seen in our 22 years, certainly. And now it's being able to educate that consumer, being able to let them know what their options are in terms of interest rates, in terms of how are you going to get into that property and make it make sense. Because a lot of times the math isn't mathing anymore. My payment was $2,500 6 months ago had I purchased, but now it's $3,500. Make that make sense for me. And so explaining what options they have, finding other programs, partnering with lenders and vendors who are going to be able to help them with navigating this new world that we're in.
All right, so you spoke on a customer perspective. What about the agent perspective?
The agent perspective, it's following your schedule to the T. It's waking up early. It's sometimes staying up late. It's making sure you're communicating with your clients, making sure you're adding value to each and every person that you come in contact with in this business, and understanding your role in the process and really helping your clients with what's going on today.
Well, there you have it. Well, you're getting it from two seasoned vets in the business. We've done it together. So it's been fun. It's been challenging, but anybody can make it. Just got to dig in right now. It's put your habits in, commit to it, and go extra hard.
And definitely reach out. If you are thinking about working with your spouse, reach out, because I'm sure we've got some perspectives. It works. It works for us, and you've got to figure out your lane.
There it is. Okay, well, Kelly, thanks for jumping on with me today. And stay tuned. There's another episode coming.
And it's Keith and Kelly from the KJAX group at eXp Realty. Please like our page, share it, and come back.
Subscribe to the channel.